Ancient Demon Lord Rimuru by Mertinator1905. 14. Messenger. Demargania was the country where the giants, under the rulership of Dagruel, resided. In the original timeline it was also called Holy Void because it was simply a barren land which was contaminated after the fight between Milam and Guy Crimson. As of now, due to Rimuru stopping the two, the land was saved and in a good shape. Dagruel had already received a report from his spies who witnessed the fight and how a mysterious blue-haired maiden has saved them from the worst as she had knocked out Milam Nava before she could do some serious damage to their country. Dagruel was currently in his throne room, still exhausted from his fight with Veldora a few days ago. Their fight ended in a draw, again, but both enjoyed it till the end before they both decided to call it a draw and parted ways. But Dagruel didn't complain about it because he and Veldora had developed some kind of a friendship during their fights and both respected each other's strength. While he was recalling his fight with Veldora, his brother Glassard entered the throne room. "Brother, did you recover already?" "Yes, Glassard, if it wouldn't be for Veldora I would be rusty by now. These training sessions help me stay in shape." Glassard let out a chuckle at Dagruel's response. There aren't many people to fight the Storm Dragon evenly and call it a training session afterwards. Dagruel smirked at this remark. Although he appeared calm and friendly, the truth was that he always enjoyed a good fight. This was the case since the old times where the giants went on a rampage and were stopped by Veldanava. Since then, it was Dagruel's duty to guard the Heavens Tower. But now, as a king, he had to think of his folk and avoid troubles which could affect Demargania. Their life was peaceful and the only conflict they really had was with their neighbors, the vampires under the reign of Luminos Valentine. They were playing cat and mouse but hadn't a full-out war until now. They both wanted to expand their territories, but couldn't attack the humans. The reason being Guy Crimson. Some vampires under Luminos Valentine decided, unbeknownst to their queen, to attack a human nation to expand their land, but were annihilated before they could start it by the Green Primordial. After this incident, both Dagruel and Luminos were warned not to do anything to break the balance of power or attack human nations just because of their ambitions to expand their territories. They, of course, didn't want to incite the wrath of the strongest primordial, who had two other primordials at his command. And since then, they were bickering with each other. While Dagruel was talking with Glassard about the current state of their land, suddenly someone barged in. It was one of the guards. He went before the throne Dagruel was sitting in and kneeled. "Excuse my rudeness Dagruel-sama, to suddenly burst into the throne hall, but we have a problem." "What happened?" "The blue primordial, Rain-sama is here and demands an audience." "That's a rare guest," Dagruel thought to himself. The last time he saw her was when Guy came to warn them. But one thing he knew was that it has to be important and that it was a bad idea to decline it. Did she mention why she is here? Is she alone? I tried to ask, but she simply brushed me off telling it was not my business and not to stick my nose in everything. The guard said, clearly defeated. Sigh. All right, bring her here. The guard left and soon after came back, accompanied by Rain. Dagruel was calm, but could feel how his brother tensed up. Dealing with the violet primordial was exhausting enough, and having a named primordial in this land was understandably worth panicking. "Excuse me, we couldn't prepare for your arrival because we didn't know of it. What brings you here today, Rain?" "Not necessary, as I am just here as a messenger from my lord, the demon lord, chaos creator, Rimuru Tempest-sama." Rain answered indifferently, but emphasized her lord's name and titles loudly. "Your lord. Wasn't your lord Guy Crimson?" Dagruel asked. Glassard also had a dumbfounded expression because of what Rain said. "I was, yes, but with Guy-sama's agreement, I now serve my lord Rimuru Tempest-sama." "I see. You said you're a messenger. What is it that you wanted to deliver?" A letter appeared in Rain's hand, and she walked to the throne and handed it to Dagruel, who opened it and started to read it. When he finished it, he was visibly pale. "Tell your lord that we are expecting him. I will prepare for his arrival." Rain nodded and walked out of the throne room, accompanied by the guard. As soon as she left, Dagruel let out a big sigh. "What happened, brother? Who are we expecting? Is it that much of a deal?" Glassard asked, seeing how pale his brother was. "Of course it's a big deal. Not only Demon Lord Rimuru, but also Milam Nava and Scorched Dragon Belgrand." "What? Why would they want an audience? And let aside the two demon lords, why is Belgrand-sama accompanying them? She doesn't really fit well in the group, doesn't she?" "I don't know, Glassard, I don't know. He simply wrote that he has an offer to make and is accompanied by the people I mentioned. And for some reason, he also wrote that he is a man. I wonder why it's so relevant to mention. Dagruel pondered. The reason was simply that Rimuru didn't want to be called Miss Tempest again. It hurt his pride as a man, and this was the solution he came up with. But Dagruel, not knowing of this, couldn't find an answer to his question. I wonder what kind of person Rimuru Tempest is. If I have to guess, it has to be the person who knocked Milam Nava out. But according to our spies, that person was a girl. Glassard said. Maybe that's why he said he was a man. I don't know, we'll see. For now, let's prepare for their arrival. As soon as Rain returned, she nearly fought with Ultima again. Rain directly attacked Ultima without asking what she was doing there, and Ultima, too stubborn to state anything, didn't help the case either. They were separated by Rimuru and were scolded. Rimuru, for the second time, had to explain everything to Rain, and after the explanation, she calmed down. Despite knowing of her lord's greatness, she was surprised that Ultima decided to serve him. After that, Rain told her report. Alright, let's wait for a bit so that they have enough time to prepare. Rain, Ultima, no fighting alright. As you wish, Rimuru-sama, both said in unison. Soon after, Rain and Ultima were talking about various things, but when Rain heard of how Ultima received a body made personally by Rimuru, she became envious. Rimuru, who realized it, quickly prepared one for her and let her possess it. Rimuru knew from the original timeline how envious and childish Rain could be, so that was the easiest way to prevent a conflict between Ultima and Rain. Thank you, Rimuru-sama. Glad you like it, Rimuru said, with a smile on his face which made Rain blush a little. After 1 hour, Rimuru stood up and made an announcement. I know this is the third time I'm saying this, but just to be sure. We are here to talk and offer Dagruel a position as a demon lord, not to fight. So don't start a fight or insult our hosts. I think they had enough time to prepare, let's go. Everyone nodded and took off to meet Dagruel, the king of the giants and possibly the soon-to-be fifth demon lord.